unfortunately, no wins this weekend at either Hobbytown or AAA Hobbies, but I'm going to tell you all about it. Against stellar competition, I did not prevail, and I did not succeed against the elite level competition that was at both places. Yes, at Hobbytown, I raced 4 cars in Tune Class. So what happened was I was late for box stock, and I think I probably could have almost made it to box stock. I was like just 10 minutes late, and I could have gotten a car in there, but I didn't bring any box stock cars because I was anticipating that I would be late. So I just brought tuned and open class cars for their 75th anniversary event. Yes, they have been running races for 75 consecutive months. Pretty darn cool. So, because it was their special anniversary edition of their races at Hobbytown, it attracted elite level competition. Yes, from the likes of Portal Tuners, Deep Pit Stop, McBite, lots of different racing groups, and we all did our best to try to get on the podium. Unfortunately, my Tune Class cars, if I were to re-race the entire event again, I'd probably still stick with the same formula. Now, here's the problem. I didn't have a formula. So I had kind of a laissez-faire mentality regarding the whole thing. So I was out-strategized in a large sense because everybody else was modifying their cars greatly, wildly to try to fit the craziness of the track. There were a lot of little details and one of the longest tracks that Hobbytown has ever had. And I didn't do the same thing, and I think I should have. I should have tried to find a way to make my cars brakeless, because the brakeless cars, or the cars with very little brake and just the right spots, they were the ones that were winning the race. And they were doing it with very high gears, like 4-to-1 and 5-to-1 gears, torque tune motor, things like that. And for me, I love the speed gears, right? I love this 3.5-to-1, I love the 3.7-to-1 gears, and I try to use a torque or atomic tune motor on those. And it was not a winning formula for me. So I had Eagle as one of my cars, and that stood a good chance, so long as I knew about upping the battery voltage. So I was playing very conservative the first 2 rounds for the first two laps, and I don't think I should have been so conservative, because my cars were like trailing behind everybody else's. Everybody else had nice, good, juiced up batteries and minimal braking, and they were traversing the course fine. And so the double dragon back that was in the course, oh my god, take a look at the course right here. It's crazy pants. In fact, we'll expand it on the screen so you can take a look at it. So you see the double dragon back, right? That's pretty crazy, but there are also other crazinesses around the track as well. There's the digital curves, crazy loops here and there. The double dragon back was the killer though. Most people coursed out at the double dragon back section, and that was a shame. So I had some cars that were very stable and solid, but they weren't fast enough to beat the other cars. And I had a ton of brake on Eagle right here. So it was really going along smoothly along the track. And once I upped it to the highest battery voltage I could on the 3rd and final round, then I was getting to that point where I was pretty speedy, and somebody basically coursed out in front of me, and I had the chance to be in the lead and take the lead and finish in the lead, but unfortunately I coursed out at the very end, the final lap, and that's just the way the ball bounces. And then I had my second best chance of victory was my Panda Bear car. A lot of you know about the Panda Bear. This is legendary by now, right? I took it to DXN. I also raced it at Hobbytown. A lot of you know, AAA Hobbies as well. A lot of you know that this is a very fast car. And it's not the fastest car, but it's steady and stable and solid. It's rock solid. And it just wasn't fast enough against the elite cars. The elite cars, because they didn't have all of this braking on them, or minimal braking, or a different style of braking perhaps, they were traversing the course very well. And at the very end, I took the lead with this one as well, but unfortunately that final lap, I jumped off the double dragon back, and then I weirdly landed right on top of the track, and it just sat there as if it was like just smiling and mocking me. It was just kind of sad, but I had a chance with this one, and that was cool. I have no regrets racing this one. I think maybe there was something that was a little off somewhere, where like a little wear and tear on things prevented me from successfully traversing that final part of the track. That's just the way the ball bounces too. And then I had this one won Outcast's Tune Class category, and I was sure that this one would give me the best fortune, but unfortunately this too also did like a flip over, right, on that double dragon back. So this double dragon back here at Hobbytown was positioned in a slightly different location from where it was at Outcast. And so the car was just going a little too fast towards the double dragging back, and then it just did its careening end over end kind of flip. And yeah, and plus this was also slower than most people's cars. Like this, there's a lot of power loss in SFM chassis. Yeah, so yeah, Super FM chassis, pretty cool, but it's not the best for a speedy car. It's very stable and steady and rock solid though, that's for sure. And then I had my final car. This was like the, I'll just call it like my random entry, because I have never really competed with this one. This has been sitting on my shelf for the longest time because I was not content with the color combination. So here I've got everything now purple, right? Purple and 2 shades of purple actually. So what I did was I ended up spray painting these Tamiya dampers right here with different shades of purple. I've got these Tamiya rollers here, rollers in the front and back. And yeah, I wanted to make everything this pink, purple. You see, there's 2 shades of pink right here. So I wanted 2 shades of purple to kind of match it out. And with the green, that just like 5 colors, very nice. With the black and white, very cool, very nice. So this I would have been fine and content with just relegating it to the shelf. But I decided to take it out and just race it and just see what could happen with it. So initially I had a RevTune motor in there, and that was pretty speedy. Can't complain about that. And then I switched it over to a TorqueTune motor, and it's got a 3.7 to 1 gear ratio. So yeah, pretty cool, especially in that technical track that we had at Hobbytown. Very cool. So the gear ratios for the other ones, this is also 3.7 to 1. Yeah, 3.7 to 1. That's one of my favorite gear ratios. And this one was 3.5 to 1, because without that, this is going to be too slow competition-wise to the other ones. Yeah, so cool. But the funny thing is, I think the people who are winning those tune class races, I know that there's this one, and it was really weird. It was an orange colored tune class car, and the Portal Tuners folks had it, and they were racing it. I think it was an animal racer, and it was weird because initially, right off the gate, it was pretty slow. And then it just got faster and faster as it continued racing around the track. It was uncanny that it kept going faster, and it made this weird noise. The motor made this weird noise. So I don't quite understand what was going on there, other than the fact that it was running some weird gear ratio that most people don't have, because most people's cars did not sound like that. So yeah, this car is going faster and faster, and it was almost like it was like possessed or something. It was like very strong, and it traversed the double dragging back with no problems. It never flipped out. It's like really impressive. It actually rode the waves. Very impressive. So yeah, unfortunately, nothing in tune class, and it was so late, folks. Like, tune class didn't actually start until about 6:30, around there, and then it ended around, I don't know, I left at 9:30 because I didn't make the finals, so I'm assuming that it probably ended at around 10. So that's crazy late. And then a bunch of folks stayed behind so that they could race in open class and other classes that they kind of created for themselves while they were there, and that's pretty cool. So unfortunately I didn't have either the energy or the time for that, because I had to wake up for the races the next day, AAA Hobbies, where I was one of the marshals on the racetrack there. So yeah, at AAA Hobbies I raced, yes, my Korean mock frame Koreana for box stock, and I raced, where is it? It's around here. Ah, here it is. I raced this, but with smaller wheels. This is the Phantom Blade, right? This is like the Batmobile car, except I had those dark blue wheels that it came with. Yes, and with the dark blue wheels, it was a mighty fast car, but it just couldn't keep up with the competition. The competition was just a little bit faster. And the funny thing is, had I had these wheels, I probably would have fared a lot better. I probably would have been well ahead of where I was with the small wheels. And I probably could have gotten some decent ranking on the podium with this car with these big wheels. So my first round, I had all this weight on the car, and I really didn't need it. Everybody was like removing weight, not having any brakes at all, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on there? Why don't they have any brakes on their car? Tune class cars usually always have brakes on their car, and they did not. And I was like, we got to start stripping this down. After round 1, and I saw how slow I was compared to everybody else, I removed some weight, and second round I fared better without the extra weight. So I only had the 2 front weights on there. And yeah, I was like, this is so cool. I'm faster now. And then the third round, like I was very close in the second round. In the third round, I removed the front weights too. And I was like, And somebody even told me, you should remove the side plates because that adds additional weight too. And I was like, yeah, I should. But really, another person told me after the race, you should have changed the wheels to these low profile wheels, these medium height wheels, because that's how he won a race using this car. And I'm like, whoa, I had no idea that these size wheels here would fit on this size body. And yeah, it does. And I tested it and it stayed on the track and I was like, whoa, so I could have won this thing quite possibly with this combination. So sometimes, folks, it's about finding the right combination for a particular track. So this combination here is not going to necessarily work on the next track that's going to be put out. So yeah, every track presents its own little puzzles to solve. So that's what's cool about this hobby. The fact that you have to determine, based on the track layout, what you need to do to make your car as fast as possible and stay on the track and be competitive against the other racers. If you just raced alone and you practice your car alone on a track, you don't have a real sense of where you're at, so to speak, in terms of your competition. So you want to practice racing against other racers in practice just to see where you're at, just to get an idea. And then you tune your car accordingly. Now I've seen like one of the winning cars, like he had this weird issue where he was like flipping up a little bit, almost torquing to the side and then coming back down. So if he went any faster, he probably would have corkscrewed. So he was very fortunate that he didn't corkscrew, but he could have. So he needed a little more weight on the front side, I felt. But his car like got into the semifinals. So yeah, he was doing pretty well. So yeah, this whole chassis here just intrigues me because I'm like, whoa, this is a chassis of yesteryear and it did so well on this particular track. Pretty cool. And I know that if I used ringless, what is it? Not the ringless, but the aspirated rollers, the ones with the holes in them, this probably would have been faster on the track too, because it's got these heavyweight rollers on there. Now I do like the heavyweight rollers. They're very stable, strong, solid, etc. But yeah, for speed, you definitely need those holy rollers, I call them. Holy rollers. Yeah, pretty cool. So yes, even though I didn't win anything, I learned a great deal from this, right? I learned that, hey, you have to tune your cars better. You have to basically be able to tune them on the fly. And you can't just be complacent. You just can't have a laissez-faire mentality when you're up against elite level competition. Yes, pretty darn cool. But I'm very glad that here we go in AAA Hobbies. We have here the box stock winners, and you see Cyril is in the middle, and he's part of McBite Racing. Pretty cool. McBite wins box stock this month. And then we also have right here Tune Class, and guess who's in the middle? Cyril. Yes. So McBite Racing wins both box stock and Tune Class this month. Pretty darn cool. Yeah. Although I didn't win the category that I competed in, there were 67 cars competing in Tune Class. I did get to meet legendary racer and YouTube star Shellshock of CT USA Mini 4-Wheel Drive Racing. Also, one of my racing colleagues showed off his Mini 4-Wheel Drive car that has a Game Boy Color body as its cowl. So, take a look at what happened to my mock frame, my Korean mock frame right here. It's very hard to see, but these are kind of bent inward, so instead of being vertical, they're now inward like this because of repeated hits along the wall of the track. Once the rollers are starting to bend inward, it's like basically going to course out very easily. So you basically have to reinforce the posts or replace the chassis. So yeah, and it's hard to replace this one because, you know, like these are expensive. Korean mock frames are very expensive, and yeah. I have another one, but I don't want to build it. Yeah. So yeah, might as well just fix this one. Yeah. As I was removing the wheels on this one, I was having like a tough time trying to remove the shaft from the wheel, and I asked people for needle nose pliers, and then I was turned on to this one thing. It was basically frog tape. It's a green tape. Check it out right here. This green tape is like almost like a masking tape. If you take a little piece of it, like a 1/2-inch strip, and you wrap it around the shaft, you could grip it and easily pull off the shaft without using any needle nose pliers. Now, if you did use needle nose pliers, what I did in the past was use a rubber grip like a jar opener, and I would wrap the shaft in that and then use the needle nose pliers and yank the shaft right out of the wheel. But that's not cool because you can cause indentations in the shaft. So if you use this frog tape, just wrap a little bit around. So it's 1/2 inch high by whatever the length of the tape is across, and it's like a wide roll. If you just wrap a little bit of that around the shaft, you can get a good grip so you can easily pull it off. Yeah, pretty darn cool. I had no idea that you could do that with what appears to be masking tape, frog tape. So pretty cool, pretty cool. So everybody, if you like this video, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel, you'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time everybody, see you, bye.